The film begins more than 1,000 years in the future, following a cataclysmic conflict against the ancients known as the 60-Minute War, after which the surviving humanity started fighting against each other for resources. The remnants of mankind regroup and form mobile cities called traction cities, starting the age of the predator cities of the West. Hester Shaw, a masked woman, is looking through her binoculars when she spies a predator city 60 miles away and closing. She rushes to the small Bavarian mining town called Salzhaken moments before the alarm is raised. Under a philosophy known as municipal Darwinism, larger predator cities in this world hunt and absorb smaller settlements in the Great Hunting Ground. The entire city closes itself and begins to disband just as the larger city of London moves to hunt it. The town of Salzhaken struggles to drive away as the city of London opens its jaws, while people cheer from their balconies. Lord Mayor Magnus Crome appears to ask Thaddeus Valentine, head of the Guild of Historians, the status of the town. Hearing about its dilapidated condition, Magnus becomes concerned that they left the hunting ground of Great Britain to arrive in continental Europe for nothing. When London continues to gain ground, Salzhakenese empty their silos to gain speed. Chudley Pomeroy, the manager of London's museum, is concerned that the vibrations are destroying their antiquities. Tom Natsworthy, an apprentice historian, rushes to the museum. Salzhaken tries to lure London towards the foothills, but London manages to capture it with zip lines. Salzhaken is captured, and its population and resources are absorbed. Catherine Valentine, daughter of Thaddeus Valentine, is chatting with Tom about the ancients and the 60-Minute War. At the same time, they look at relics of 21st century technology, such as toasters, computers, and smartphones, valued by historians as old tech. He shows her a map of the 21st century, and a video that shows an explosion from a quantum energy weapon that destroyed the Earth, called Medusa. Catherine is horrified at the weapons of the old world, and Tom says that, because some pieces are being stolen from the museum, he made his secret vault, containing deadlier weapons from the past. Meanwhile, Herbert Melephant, an apprentice historian and Tom's rival, spies from a window, confronts them, and sends Tom to London's gut to collect Salzhaken's old tech for London's museum to gain some time with Valentine, but she follows Tom instead. On the train, Tom explains to Valentine that if they're not early to the gut workers will throw historical artifacts into a furnace to make their engines work. As they get off their station, Tom and Valentine see wanted posters of Anna Fang, the leader of the Anti-Traction League, a resistance group banding against the moving cities devouring Earth's resources. Meanwhile, Hester Shaw is able to sneak her dagger past the guards. While on their way, Valentine accidentally bumps into Beavis, a maintenance worker, who becomes infuriated at her aristocratic background, despite her apologizing. They arrive in the gut just in time for Tom to save a toaster from going in the furnace, and Thaddeus compliments him for his knowledge. Thaddeus is familiar with Tom's parents, whom he describes as first-class historians. Meanwhile, Hester is intent on Thaddeus. An argument between a guard and a Salzhakenese breaks out, and Thaddeus breaks and arrests the guard. But Hester attempts to assassinate Thaddeus for her mother, Pandora. But Tom intervenes and sees a scar on her face. As guards appear, Hester tries to escape, with Tom in pursuit, through a Salzhaken being cut apart by massive saws. Thaddeus also pursues, and the two corner her in a chute, and when she tries to jump, Tom grabs her hand. Hester tells him that Thaddeus murdered her mother and scarred her face, and tells him to ask Thaddeus about it before jumping. Thaddeus appears, and when Tom informs him of Hester's last words, he pushes Tom down the chute and tells Catherine that Tom perished in the fight. But Catherine notices that Beavis saw what happened. Catherine questions Thaddeus about his relationship with Hester. Still, he feigns ignorance and thinks she is a member of the Anti-Traction League, who have developed an alternative civilization consisting of static settlements, non-mobile cities, in Asia led by Shan Guo, protected by the Shield Wall, who keep their resources to themselves. Hester wakes up in the hunting ground and finds an unconscious Tom, whom she proceeds to rob. When he tries to follow Hester, she tells him that it took her 6 months to reach Valentine. Tom begs for her help to reach London. Meanwhile, Magnus chastises Valentine for ever convincing him to leave for Europe, and asks him about his energy project in the repurposed St. Paul's Cathedral. But Valentine needs more time. Magnus threatens to pull him down before ending the call. He explains to Catherine that the old philosophy of municipal Darwinism will not work in their future, which is why he's working on the energy project, and leaves for work despite his injuries. As Tom and Hester navigate their way towards a trading town, she warns Tom to avoid the outlands in the south. Valentine enters St. Paul's Cathedral and offers Dr. Twix, one of the scientists working on the energy project, a salvaged piece of old tech for the project. She warns him to take down Hester since she's a danger to their project. She tells him that the offshore walking prison Sharkmoor informed her that they've captured Shrike, a reanimated cyborg known as a stalker, who wants to assassinate Hester too. Hester and Tom struggle to survive in the great hunting ground, drinking water from the ground and eating expired food from the old world. Hester explains that the food of the ancients never goes bad, as it is packed in plastic. Tom reveals that his parents died 8 years ago when the Tier 4 collapsed in the Big Tilt, but when he asks about her past, Hester puts him off. She's woken up by a nightmare of being hunted by Valentine and finds Tom missing, who is calling a mobile town towards him. Hester identifies it as belonging to Southies, scavengers on a night hunt, and saves Tom from being captured. While the two continue to run, Tom falls into an underground vehicle called Scuttlebug, and Tom finds Hester with her leg wounded while saving him. Catherine corners Beavis in an alley and asks him about what happened to Tom and Hester. Though he's hesitant at first, he tells her that Thaddeus pushed Tom down the chute, and that his energy project in the St. Paul's Cathedral is more than it seems. Though he tried to get inside, Beavis failed due to increased security. Catherine offers to help. Tom drags a wounded Hester to their compartments in the Scuttlebug, where Tom apologizes for her present situation. Hester finally confides that she was 8 years old when Valentine killed her archaeologist mother Pandora, after stealing a piece of old tech she found in a dig in the dead continent of the Americas, while she gave Hester a necklace to run with. When the child Hester fought Valentine, he scarred her face. Thaddeus visits the Sharkmoor prison to see the Shrike, the last of the Lazarus Brigade, and asks it why it wants Hester. The Shrike reveals that Hester broke her promise, for which it will kill her. Despite his staff's protests, Thaddeus releases it. Hester wakes up to learn from Tom that the Scuttlebug has changed directions, and they've been locked inside their cell. They try to pry open a vent to escape, but Hester's wound makes it difficult for her. Hester returns Tom his money and tells him to go to a way station due north called Ramsgate, from where he can return to London, but he refuses to leave, and they are prepared to be sold as slaves in the Rustwater market in the Outlands. While bids are being made on Hester, an unregistered bidder makes an unbeatable offer, but the slaver recognizes her as the Anti-Traction League agent Anna Fang, who has a bounty on her head, and demands more money, prompting Anna to shoot him and free Hester. As Anna fights the slavers, Hester frees Tom and the two proceed to run. During the chaos, they are pursued by Shrike, to whom Hester had made a promise. They're rescued by Anna, and when Tom helps Hester on her ship, Anna decides to leave without Tom, prompting Hester to throw a rope for him, which is caught by the Shrike, who proceeds to pull at the rope. Anna throws her a knife to cut the rope with, but Hester throws it at Tom, who cuts it from his end. Once inside Anna's airship, Anna nurses Hester's wound, and reveals that she knew Hester's mother, and looked for Hester for a long time, but thought she'd died. Tom realizes that the Shrike raised her in the Outlands, and when he calls it a corpse, Hester gets angry and slaps him. Meanwhile, to gain Thaddeus's favor, Herbert offers to show him Tom's hidden cache of deadly old-tech weapons. Tom goes out to apologize to her, and Hester explains that Shrike had found and raised her after escaping Valentine, who still had memories of a family in a previous life. Hester promised to let him turn her into a stalker like himself, but she left after discovering that London had entered the great hunting ground, giving her a chance to kill Valentine. Meanwhile, while Catherine is taking Beavis to show Beavis Tom's cache of old weapons, Pomeroy reveals that engineers came and stole them and took them to St. Paul's S. He opens the door to hidden passages beneath London, called the Cradle, which leads to the crypt beneath St. Paul's Cathedral. He sends them to investigate. Tom flies Anna's airship to the airborne city Airhaven. They meet other Anti-Traction League members, like Captain Cora, who is skeptical of Tom. Meanwhile, Magnus is shocked to learn when Thaddeus orders to alter the course of London towards the east. Beavis and Catherine emerge from the crypt and sneak into St. Paul's Cathedral. Hester and Tom are taken to meet the other Rushan member of the Anti-Traction League of Shanguo. They tell Hester that Pandora discovered something very dangerous before she died, and ask her what it was. Tom is shocked to learn that Thaddeus has been looking for fusion cells. He draws a symbol on a piece of paper, and asks Hester if what Valentine stole from her mother had it. Tom realizes what Pandora discovered was a computer core for Medusa, a quantum energy-based superweapon used during the 60-minute war to instantly destroy entire cities and shatter the Earth's crust into 1,000 pieces that have rearranged the former continents. The Guild of Engineers has stolen the remaining components from Tom's museum workshop and built a Medusa under Valentine's orders. Beavis and Catherine spy as Thaddeus launches it. To stop Medusa, Tom reveals that they need a crash drive, which is a kill switch. Magnus finally discovers Medusa, and Thaddeus explains that this is their checkmate in the war for survival. The Rushan realizes that Thaddeus's actual target is Shan Guo in the east. Magnus reminds him of the mistakes their ancestors made by using Medusa and wants to shut it down, but his orders fall on deaf ears and Thaddeus guns him down. Catherine sees it and denounces him as her father. While the Rushan are planning their next course of action, the Shrike catches up with them, resulting in a fierce skirmish that destroys Airhaven and kills many. Tom tries to escape with Hester, but they're cornered by Shrike. Tom attacks him but is easily knocked out, and the Shrike proceeds to choke him, but Hester begs for his life. Realizing that Hester is in love with Tom, he spares Tom, frees her of her promise, and returns her her mother's necklace. But after receiving mortal wounds in the fight, Shrike perishes. As Hester and Anna drag Tom to safety, the Shrike recalls its memories. Londoners celebrate as Thaddeus announces his intention to take down Shanguo's shield wall and lead them to a new hunting ground in Asia. Hester, Tom, and Anna travel to the shield wall of Batmonk Gompa with the surviving anti-tractionists. They meet Shanguo's governor Quan, and Anna tries to convince him to launch the anti-tractionist airship fleet against London before it uses the Medusa weapon. Tom wants to convince them otherwise since there are innocent people in London, but Governor Quan says there is no other way. Tom, angry, goes to find his way while Hester follows. After coming upon a stone carving of Medusa, Hester discovers that her mother's necklace hides a crash drive, a kill switch for Medusa. She shows it to Tom, and they run to find Anna. Medusa destroys the fleet and blasts a hole through the shield wall. Hester and Tom convince Anna and the remaining anti-tractionists to lead a raid against London. As they're flying, another fire from Medusa almost brings them down. The remaining anti-tractionists divert the city's anti-aircraft guns, while Anna flies towards it. Several of them are killed and taken down in the fight before Anna's aircraft lands on London. Hester and Anna infiltrate St. Paul's Cathedral, leaving the aircraft to Tom to pilot. As Anna is about to assassinate Thaddeus, one of his guards sacrifices his life for him, and Anna is shot in the ensuing gunfight. A sword fight between the two breaks out, during which Hester sneaks in and uses the crash drive to stop Medusa in the final 10 seconds. Anna is mortally stabbed, but only lets go of Thaddeus after Medusa is shut down. Catherine confronts Thaddeus for his murderous intentions and learns that the insane Valentine had his henchmen kill the city's control crew. Going to the control room, she learns that Thaddeus has put the city on full throttle on a collision course with the wall, with no concern for his people. With Catherine's help, Tom uses Anna's airship to destroy London's engine to stop it. Hester catches up to Thaddeus aboard his airship just as he's about to escape, where he reveals that he is her father. Catching her off guard, he takes her weapon. In the chaos, Hester kicks the weapon from Thaddeus's hand, and the two break into a fight, but Thaddeus easily overpowers her. Tom rescues Hester and shoots down Thaddeus's ship, which goes crashing into the hunting ground. As Thaddeus tries to escape, he is crushed by London's slowing tracks, killing him. The surviving Londoners, now led by Catherine, make peace with the anti-tractionists of Shan Guo. Governor Quan welcomes the Londoners. Tom and Hester leave in the airship together to tour the world and hug each other, and the movie ends.